Hi fairies, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Fifi. It's so nice to have you here. I hope you stay well. Today we are going to be doing book confessions tag. I was tagged in this by a book bestie, Viara, one of my favorite booktubers. I've been watching her a lot recently. Definitely go check her out and subscribe to her videos. But yeah, I'm just going to answer some questions essentially and give my opinions and my thoughts and basically confessions. Honestly, any excuse to talk about books, I'm always there. So the first question, what unpopular book opinions or preferences do you have? I have to say that I am of the personal belief that people do deserve to be shamed for some things when it comes to books. Okay, some authors deserve to be shamed for some type or forms of writing. They also deserve to be shamed for some things that they are writing about. I'm looking at you, dark romance authors and dark romance consumers. Anyways, honestly, when I first heard of dark romance, I was thinking, okay, these characters are going to be in very tough, perilous conditions, going through so many things. But then the MMC is always going to protect the FMC. That's what I was thinking. But some of the things that I am seeing these days, I actually recently read, not recently, like, but this year I read Haunting Adeline for a video. Go check that out if you would like. But I was definitely traumatized because what do you mean the MMC is actively causing harm to the FMC? Like the FMC would be very fine without the MMC. Like the MMC is the one inflicting pain. How is that something that you're enjoying? How is that something that you can truly write? And first of all, not cringe, but also like that's scary. That's really scary. And people are going crazy about Sabrina Carpenter. You're reading Haunting Adeline. I think we will all be fine at the end of the day. Like, so yeah, I do think some people deserve to be hated on, some authors deserve to be chastised, and some readers deserve to be spoken to strongly. The second question, has your reading taste changed over the years and how? My reading taste has definitely changed so much over the years. When I was like, let's say 6, 7, 8, I liked Enid Blyton books, stuff like that. When I got a little bit older, let's say 12, 13, 14, I was more into Wattpad. Like I was definitely in my Wattpad phase, staying up all night to finish books on Wattpad. I was also writing a number of books. I think I was writing like 12 different books and I never got past chapter 10 in any of them. Um, but it was so much fun. I miss Wattpad. I wish you can bring it back somehow, but they've just like monetized the whole thing, and it's now just a capitalist space, to be honest. And I cannot even be there anymore. It's just sad. It's sad to see. But yeah, I was definitely in my Wattpad phase at that point. But then as I grew up more, I was more just leaning toward booktok type books. That was when booktok started to really, become something profound and something a lot of people were talking about. So I was just reading any book that people were raving about at that point. Like I read the Cali Fortune books, I read, The Summer I Turned Pretty, I read almost every Colin Hoover book. Like let's not talk about it. And between all these eras, I guess I will call it, I would go long periods of time without reading, like maybe 1 year, 2 years. Like even before last year, August, I hadn't read for like a year. Since then, I've been reading so much and I've read like almost 100 books or over 100 books since then, which is kind of crazy. And yeah, I think right now my reading taste is very much refined. I know exactly what I like, which is why I've been getting so many 5 stars recently. I know what I would and wouldn't like. Sometimes I do try to branch out and try some other things. But now I like fantasy, fantasy with a subplot of romance. I am still trying to find my go-to contemporary romance book. I'm still not the biggest fan of contemporary romance, especially after my whole book talk phase. Yeah, I do think my reading taste has changed quite a lot, and I think it will continue to change as I personally grow and as I read more and more books, even outside of my comfort zone. I think that's just how life is essentially. What genre do you read to get out of a book slump? I don't think I have a specific genre that I go to if I'm trying to get out of a book slump. I think if I'm feeling myself entering a book slump, that's when I really lean on my feelings and my mood. I ask myself, okay, what are you in the mood to read? Like what sounds really good right now? And I just go off of that, to be honest. it's usually going to be like a fast-paced fantasy or even a thriller. So yeah. The next question, what are some of your auto-buy authors? I don't have too many auto-buy authors right now. I guess I would say Holly Black for sure, Dan Brown, Olivia Atwater, yup. Hmm. I'm trying to think. I don't have too many. There are authors that I haven't read that I know will be auto by authors. Like I know for a fact I'm going to love Frederick Bachman and his books, but I haven't read any books by him yet. Also R.F. Kwong, like authors like that. I think I would love so much that they will become auto by authors. But for now, yeah, I can't really think of too many. How many chances do you give an author before you completely give up? I think maybe three. I guess I would say three. Like Annabelle Monaghan. I read two of her books and I gave both of them less than 3 stars, but I still want to read at least one more book by her so I can be sure. Okay, I did the same thing with Emily Henry. I didn't love some of her books, I liked some. So I'm still going to read more Emily Henry books. I think it depends on how I actually feel about a book. If I read a book by an author and I don't necessarily like their writing, I might not want to ever pick another book by them. But if I like the writing, but maybe I didn't like the plot, or if I like the plot, or I think this author has a good creative mind, but I didn't necessarily like the writing of a specific book, I would try another book. I guess it just depends, to be honest. But I would say three generally. Next question, do you have anything you like to do or listen to while you read? In the past, I would have said, yeah, definitely music. I used to listen to literally any type of music while I would read, which was kind of crazy. Thinking back, like I would literally be listening to Beyonce. And like how was that even working out? I have no idea. But then I switched to, more like instrumental, classical music, um Bridgerton type music, and that was also quite fun and a nice thing to do, I guess. But these days, honestly, I've just been liking silence, like pure silence. I honestly think I'm more focused when I do that and when I read without anything at all, just me, my brain, and the book. It makes me, feel like I'm more into the book. It makes me read faster. And yeah, that's just been it recently, to be honest. How far do you read before DNFing? I won't lie, I don't necessarily DNF. I think I've only ever DNF like 2 or 3 books. There are some that I have DNF'd, so to say, but they are more like, okay, I'm going to come back to this at a later time. I'm not in the mood for this right now. But I definitely mostly always go back to books that I DNF. I will say though, I do my DNFing before I get to the 20% mark or 30% mark, because I feel like once I get to the 30% mark, I just have to see it through. That's just how I am. I have to just keep reading and finish it, even though I'm not necessarily liking it. But if I'm not yet that far into it, I honestly will drop it, even though I know that I'm going to pick it up at a later time. Yeah, that's just how it is for me. This question is quite funny. It says, do you ever find yourself making the same faces as the characters in the book? I do. I really do. Sometimes the author will give a very interesting description of a face that a character is making, or an action that is being carried out, and you're just like, how does this work exactly? Like something like he growled, you're also wondering, like, is it like like is somebody, a grown man, actually growling? Like, is that attract like I actually have to visualize and act it out to be sure I know what exactly is going on and how I feel about it. Because what do you mean a grown man is going what do you mean? What do you mean? That's not hot. Who even started that whole thing? He growled. Could you imagine a grown man actually growling in your face? I think that's just like the magic of books, because there are some things that I see men or just people or characters do in general in books that I'm like, that would never that would never pass in real life. Like nobody acts that way, first of all. And if they did act that way, they will be shunned and they will be chastised and they will be looked at sideways. So yeah, that is a funny question, but I unfortunately or fortunately, I don't know, I do do that. Second to the last question, rereading, yes, no, depends. I have only ever reread one book, and I didn't even like how do I even explain this? Okay, when I was younger, I used to read a lot of Christian romance and fiction books because that's all my mom would buy for me. So like I found a couple of them recently, and so I reread one. I did it in a video. I thought it would be fun, I guess, to kind of relive it. It did feel nostalgic, but I didn't like or love the book that much in the first place. So it was just like, I don't know, why am I doing this? You know, what am I doing this for? But yeah, there are some books that I have read and given 5 stars recently that I feel like I would want to reread in the future and just see how I feel about it, you know, on a later date. But I don't know. I just feel like there are so many unread books. Why would I want to pick one up that I have already finished? Like I already took the time to read and finish this book. Why would I want to do that again when I could read another book? You know what I mean? So yeah, I guess it depends. I don't think it's necessarily for me, especially not at this point in my life where I just want to read new book after new book. I don't think I can reread a book for now. So yeah, the final question or final tag is that I should tag some booktubers of my own that I would like to see doing this video or answering these questions. So yeah, I'm going to put their names on the screen. You can also check them out if you like because I love watching their videos. I think they're so cool. And yeah, I nominate them, I guess, to make videos like this. Yeah, that's basically it. We have come to the end of this video. I hope that was fun and enjoyable for you. It was quite fun, honestly. I love talking about books, if you cannot tell. So yeah, make sure you let me know your own opinions and thoughts about all the things that I said. You know, you can also answer some of these questions in the comments down below if you're interested. I would like to see all of that. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and also follow me on Instagram if you want to be book besties or just besties in general. I would really love and appreciate that. But for now, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.